Hi, friends. So perhaps this is common for many of us. I get in this space quite often in my life where I ask the question of, why are we here? I'm sure we all do this from time to time. For me, sometimes it feels really strong, the urge to ask this question. And sometimes I've almost forgotten about it. I've kind of jumped into that rat race and I'm racing hard. And so I'm not thinking about why am I here? So recently, when I went down this path of asking, why are humans here? So many interesting things came up, mostly in my lucid state, which is for me, it's kind of after I'm done dreaming and I'm sort of not fully awake, but kind of awake, usually early in the mornings. So, what came up this time was a few things, and I'll just put them all out here, and then you can comment on what you think about it, and if you agree or disagree, or if some of these have come into your own thought process or your own lucid dreaming. One of the things that came up was we as humans are here to roam. I love that word, roam. It brings just instant joy to me, a sense of bliss and happiness and an adventure. For those of you who know me, I have three words tattooed on my arm. It's beauty, serenity, and adventure. And thinking of Rome really brings me that, as in allowing ourselves to just roam freely, with no purpose, with no agenda, sometimes with no tools, just to roam and have an experience. And that was the next thing is we're all travelers here. We're spiritual travelers. We're traveling in this human body and we're traveling to have an experience. So there's a train of thought which says, and I talked a little bit about this last time, is we may have a predestined story or a predestined situational story which is going to help us understand and learn things in a spiritual way. I have my own, and I've sort of vetted it a few times, and it feels very right. It feels like this is that situational story that I'm here to learn from, grow from. Don't know why, but it keeps presenting itself, and so I've decided to stop fighting it and just learn and grow from it. And so, as travelers, we're here on a journey, and we're all journeying together. And so, another thought that came up was it's going to feel lonely when perhaps, fellow travelers, fellow journey persons end this human journey and they transition on to the next phase of whatever the journey looks like for them, for their spiritual form. And I, still in my human form, am going to be lonely because I'm going to miss these fellow travelers. I'm going to find a gap in my life without them because I do a lot of journeying and experiencing with them. And then I kind of went to this place of one source, and I've always had this vision and this sort of internal storyline of us, all these spiritual selves coming together, all humans, sentient beings, anything that has a spiritual presence, not just in this flesh bag, but in any form, coming together from this one source. It's like this giant one source that has these long fingers that each one of us is as a single spiritual form. So while we might seem very separate from each other, we're actually just, part of one big thing, separated maybe for a little while just to have that experience, our own experience that is then fed back into the one source. So we're all sort of experiencing the same thing, maybe just not recognizing it because we're so focused on our own journey and our own experience story. So all of this sort of has been rattling around my brain and putting itself together and then all falling apart. And then I get, crushed into my human story life of an education, a job, and taking care of things. And all of this is still permeating in the back there. So it's a very joyful place, I think, to be here, because there's just so much more than going to school and finding a job, and in today's society of white picket fences, finding a partner and having kids and getting married. And I just love being outside of all of that, and just feeling that sense of roam, of allowing myself to be that free spirit and just experience everything on this planet, everything in different places, foods, people, culture, the joys and the misjoys of travel, all of that. So I've rambled on a little bit, and if you wish, either comment here, or if you have my personal number, text me and let me know what you think about all of this lucid stuff floating around in my brain. Thanks so much for listening.